Hey everyone, welcome to episode 78 of the Twim Show. This is your host Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates in the digital marketing space from the week of October 11, 2021. So first off, today we have an announcement from Facebook where basically they're updating the measurement process for ads reach. Like if you remember in the past episode, I think it was last episode, the episode prior to that, where we talked about how Facebook is basically no longer give you the exact reach, but they're going to give you a range because of the way they're doing things. Obviously, there is a lot of issues around it. But what Facebook basically is saying this week is that what they are going to do is, in the past, they would take a user, say for example myself, Sajid, I have a Facebook account as an Instagram account, right? And unless I connected these two accounts together from the account center and merge them as one, Facebook would basically count them as two separate, or it would just basically, unless I merge them together as count, and Facebook will count it as one. And that's the go forward process. And if I don't merge them together, Facebook will count them as two separate accounts, even though the underlying, I have my same email address for both these accounts. Okay. So that's the main change that Facebook is coming out and this week and saying how they're going to measure the ad reach. And what this will do is it will of course show you bigger reach than you would otherwise see if Facebook is to count these are the same users, because obviously they have the same underlying email address. Now keep in mind, a lot of people have accounts and they don't necessarily go back into Facebook account center and merge these two just for whatever reason, right? Because they're busy, they don't care about it, they're just a consumer, things like that. So it's up to you to figure out, how you're going to use this. But I just wanted to kind of bring it up and say what Facebook is doing going forward. With that, let's talk about Instagram. While we are on this topic, Instagram now supports live scheduling for Instagram live videos. Yay. Finally, an update from Instagram that I can really support and be excited about. Why? Well, I always wanted, because, to schedule events, live events on Instagram, because YouTube allows that, and I do not know if Facebook allows that. I think Facebook allows that as well. It's just that, sometimes I could go live and talk about a very important topic, but people who are my followers, they not necessarily be around. With this option, obviously, you know what's going to happen, right? You can really schedule things. Now look at the potential. Like Facebook, so Instagram is pushing into becoming an e-commerce app. So what that basically means is that small businesses and brands can actually schedule live and do product demo, especially because Instagram is pushing live shopping. Now there was an update around live shopping, but it wasn't really big for small businesses. It was about how Instagram is going to do live shopping Fridays starting November 5th for the rest of this holiday season. But look at the possibilities of what brands can do. And obviously we know live shopping is big in China. I read a McKinsey report on that, so it helps. Okay, with that, let's move on to the next part, which is Facebook audio rooms are now available to only public figures. Basically, you must have verified Facebook accounts, then you can have a Facebook public room. And the announcement goes on like how they're going to basically separate out the audio room. There's going to be let me see. There's going to have a different option to a dedicated space within the watch tab to see the audio options, things like that. It's basically Facebook is taking a stab at Clubhouse and seeing if they can bring some of those users that they've lost to Clubhouse back into Facebook, especially if they're going to start with big accounts. And right now, I think where I read somewhere that their Clubhouse has about 700,000 daily rooms being created and being talked on. So this might be, in a way, Facebook thinks, good, hey, let's give it to people who have the blue check mark and they are, quote unquote, according to Facebook book, they're like an influencers, power users. Let's give it to them, and their followers are going to come in and use that. And and without this option, they're probably going into Clubhouse and talking into it, which is great. But if you ask me, I would basically tell Facebook, why would you want to go create an audio, like a Me Too kind of app? Why not just allow the Facebook live room to be able to, like, it's like when I go live, I cannot bring guests on and I cannot talk. So why not take the best part, what's working for Clubhouse, and copy it into Facebook Live and allow us to bring people up on stage, talk to them, and let us put them back into the visitor queue. That would be more awesome, because right now when I do a Facebook Live, I can only interact with guests over chat. So I don't know what these people are doing. They're just copying each other from. Anyway, I think I'm going on a tangent, but here it is. The other thing is, a Facebook group host can also do live audio rooms, like, right? I don't really want to do audio. The only reason assure you, the only reason Clubhouse became Clubhouse is because Clubhouse not only is audio, because you can consume passively. The other thing is that you can bring people up on stage, talk to them, and then ask them to get off stage, right? Like you do in a real world. That's what I think is amazing about Clubhouse. Facebook, you don't have that. I don't know who they've hired for product management. Anyways, with that, let's move on to the next update. The next update is from Twitter. With Twitter, this update is all about that Twitter, you can actually block a follower without having to, I apologize for misstating it. So you don't have to block a follower anymore. You can actually remove them from your followers list. Like if you block someone, they would get notified that they've been blocked, and it would create sometimes a very uncomfortable situation, especially if it's someone, you don't want them to know this, you've blocked them, because they're probably messaging some things and they're seeing your update and they're saying some not so, amazing things about you, but you just want to don't to push your updates to them. I can think of many reasons why that could happen. Say a lot of Asian parents probably follow their kids and they don't want their parents to get blocked, nor do they want their parents to see the updates. So maybe this is a great option from that, avoiding trolls and things like that. Okay, with that, the other update from Twitter is that Twitter has launched, Spaces Spark programs. Again, what is Twitter Spaces? Twitter Spaces is like the Clubhouse lookalike program option from Twitter, right? And they're gonna give out about, $2,500 per month plus ad credits. And what's interesting to see is that for you to be eligible to apply, you should have established show in other social audio platforms. You should have 5,000 followers in your app. You need to commit to hosting a minimum of 2 spaces per week, and so on and so forth, right? And with that, obviously, Twitter is going to promote you. Twitter wants to basically, grow their spaces. Again, it may make more sense for Twitter to kind of, copy Clubhouse directly, because obviously Twitter didn't have the video aspect, but Facebook has video aspect, and they're like ignoring that, neglecting that, and going into audio. Anyways, that's the update from Twitter on the audio front. And the last update from Twitter is that Twitter now supports multi-destination URLs for carousel ads. Okay, this is quite big. If you ask me, from the ad front, is like previously you could only have, if you have carousel ads, and you could only have one destination. So now, and Facebook gives you that option, right? Facebook has this option, so it's nothing like earth-shattering that no one else has done it. I've seen Facebook ads, especially from Harvard Business Review, where each blog post they're posting, and each blog post, when you click on it, the carousel ad, it goes to that blog post page, right? So in a way, it's good. And Twitter is saying that they've seen 25% lift in click-through rates on average for campaigns that optimize for site visit conversions, as well as utilizing this. So check it out, and hopefully if you're on Twitter, this is going to be helpful. The second to last update comes from Microsoft this week. Microsoft has launched, obviously Microsoft launched these smart pages back in February, and we covered it in our show. And now what they're doing is they're actually enhancing it, and they're building this thing called Smart Pages Standalone, where you can create, edit, and publish your website for free, no payment information required, and just gets you an easy way to get you online. Okay. And this also comes with a reporting feature where you can see your page views, clicks, and other things happening. And then when you're ready, Microsoft is hoping if you're ready, then you would be you want to advertise. Well, guess where you're going to advertise, right? That's how Google got started. Google did that, and Google got Google Analytics everywhere. Google got data. Even if you don't advertise, what Microsoft is getting, a lot of data, right? So it's a win-win situation for Microsoft. But I'm not looking at it. You can also create from Bing Places. You can integrate the two, which is Bing Places is similar to Google. I forgot what it is called. Google My Business, GMB. It's a similar thing. So again, you can manage all those things. All in all, it's good that Microsoft is pushing independent small businesses who don't have a website, who probably are on social, to get a website easily and quickly. Obviously, it creates a bigger ecosystem for Microsoft. That's number one. They have more pages to crawl. They have more potential users to bring on board. I do not know how competitive this is going to be when you kind of stack Microsoft Smart Pages against Wix or Squarespace and things like that. Again, hey, if you're in business in the US and you cannot afford $10 a month to build a website on Square or Wix, I don't know if you really have a business or not, Microsoft, right? But I'll leave that to you. Microsoft 15 years ago, this made more sense, but now I do not know so much. But hey, what do I know? I don't work for Microsoft, but I just give you my 2 cents. Last update for this week is Google has announced starting this week and in the next 2 weeks in the US, when users on mobile search on Google, they will no longer see this option where, right now you get 10 results and then you say more results button and then it takes you to the next page. Google is saying, we're going to keep on scrolling and you're going to keep on showing your ad results, like infinity scrolling, or Google is calling it a continuous scroll. Now, what's wrong with this? Nothing's wrong. It's great that you get to see it, where if you're running Google search ads, this will potentially affect you, right? And even Google came out and they shared this in their announcement that yes, it will probably affect you, especially when it comes to you may see your ad shown more than once right now. And this may actually show you a lot more what is it called? Let me see. A lot more mobile impressions, right? As a result, your click-through rate is probably go down, right? That's one thing. But Google is saying, hey, if your ad rank doesn't really change, then, it shouldn't really affect you much. But also Google is saying that, we expect clicks, conversion, average CPC, and average cost per acquisition to remain flat, which is basically it's not going to change. It's just, I disagree with that. It's a double-edged sword. So if you were not being shown on page 1 of Google for whatever reasons, whether for SEO or whether it's for Google search ads, then this is great news for you because you are showing up at the bottom of page 2, page 3. Now you have a higher chance that someone is going to see your website or your ad. But if you're on page 1 and now you have a lot more competition, right? That's just the way I look at it. Either way, what can you do? Google changes the rule, you got to have to play with it. If you don't play with it, well, where are you going to go? They have it, right? Well, with that, folks, that's it for this week in marketing. Now you know everything to know. I did go ahead and put some links in the show notes page, so make sure you check it out. And I'm signing off. Until next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in this week. It was a pleasure to serve you all. Hit the subscribe button so that you remember to sign on next week. Same place, same time for another round of This Week in Marketing.